The blackness of space was silent, cold, and endless. A single human ship moved fast through the stars, damaged and smoking. The ship was small, meant for quick diplomatic travel, not war. Right. Inside, Lieutenant Noah Pierce was struggling to stay conscious. His head was bleeding, and warning lights flashed all around him. Sparks flew from the control panel as he pulled the yoke with both hands, trying to stabilize the ship. "This is Shuttle Deltanine. Anyone. ... Repeat. Anyone. Do you read me?" Shouted into the com. But no answer came, just static. His ship had been attacked by unknown vessels during a peace mission near the edge of explored space. They came without warning, cloaked and fast, firing before he even saw them. His crew was gone. He was alone. The engines groaned. One final blast of energy came from behind, and the ship shook violently. Systems died one after another. He was losing altitude fast. The planet came into view on the screen, wild, stormy, filled with mountains and violent winds. He didn't have a choice. "Computer, engage emergency landing protocol." The AI voice crackled. "System failure. Manual landing only." Noah gritted his teeth. Of course, he pushed the ship into descent, fighting the controls with every breath. Fire licked the sides of the vessel as it entered the planet's atmosphere. The ground was rushing up. Trees, rocks, cliffs, too fast, too close. And then everything went white. When Noah woke up, everything was quiet again. His vision was blurry. He could smell smoke, oil, and burning metal. The inside of the cockpit was half destroyed. The canopy glass was broken. He was lucky to be alive. His suit had small tears, and pain shot through his side as he tried to move. He unbuckled himself and crawled out of the wreckage. Outside, the sky was dark gray, clouds swirling with strange green lightning. The landscape was like something from a nightmare: twisted trees, black soil, and long shadows. The wind howled with a sharp, icy voice. Noah grabbed his emergency pack and limped away from the burning ship. He had no idea if the attackers would follow. He didn't even know if the planet was safe. But he had to move. Hours passed, wandered through the wilderness, bleeding and weak. He found no animals, no signs of water, only strange shapes moving far in the distance. Every noise made his heart race. His legs ached. His vision darkened again. He fell near a cliff, his strength giving out, just before he lost consciousness. He saw something move nearby. A tall figure covered in dark armor and scales stepped from the shadows. It wasn't human. Its eyes glowed faintly. It stood silent, watching him. Noah tried to raise his hand. "Help, please." Then everything went black again. Noah woke to firelight. His body ached, but it was warm. A kiba inside a cave deep and hidden. Alien symbols glowed on the walls. A small fire burned in the center, with strange glowing rocks giving off heat. He tried to sit up, groaning. His wounds were bandaged with something sticky but effective. Then he saw the figure. The alien sat across the fire, watching him closely. It was tall, maybe 7 feet, with silver blue skin that shimmered slightly in the firelight. Its armor was old and dented. One arm looked injured, covered in makeshift wrappings. Its face was sharp, but not cruel. There was something tired in its eyes. Noah didn't speak right away. The alien didn't either. After a while, Noah raised his hands slowly. "Thank you for helping me." The alien tilted its head but didn't respond. Noah reached into his pack and took out a small translation device. He activated it, holding it out carefully. "Can you understand this?" The alien stared at the device. Then it slowly nodded. A deep, rough voice came through the translator. "You are human." Noah blinked. "Yes, my name is Noah Pierce, Lieutenant, Earth Alliance." The alien was silent again, and it said, "You should not be here.
This
place is dead." Noah looked around. "What is this planet?" "Keller 7, the alien replied. "My prison." That word hung in the air. Noah frowned. "Prison?" The alien didn't explain. It stood and walked to a wall, opening a small compartment. Inside were old tech parts, broken tools, and a single glowing crystal that hummed with energy. You were lucky, it said. Most who crash here do not survive. Noah looked at his bandaged body. I guess I owe you. The alien looked at him silent, then it sat again. You owe me nothing. Storm roared outside the cave, wind screaming through cracks in the rocks. Lightning flashed. Noah could see giant shadows moving beyond the trees. What are those? He asked. Predators, the alien replied. They hunt everything, even me. Noah leaned back. Great. He sat in silence for a long time. Eventually Noah asked, What's your name? The alien thought for a while, then said Zar. Ah. Noah nodded. Thank you, Zar. Zar looked away. I did not save you for thanks. Noah didn't ask why, didn't want to push. That night, he had strange dreams. He saw Zar standing alone on a battlefield, surrounded by fire and broken machines. He saw human ships flying away, leaving Zar behind. He saw flashes of another war, a war Earth never knew about. In the morning, Noah woke up sweating. Zar was already awake, sharpening a long blade made of some alien metal. He looked like a warrior, but not a killer. There was sadness in the way he moved. Noah stretched and asked, Do you have food? Zar tossed him a strange dried fruit. It tasted bitter, but it was better than nothing. I need to send a message, Noah said. To my people, they'll come for me. Zar stood slowly. Follow. They walked deep into the cave. The path twisted and narrowed. Finally, they reached a chamber filled with old technology, glowing wires, broken screens, and a large round console in the center. Everything looked ancient. This place, Zar said, was once a command post. During the last war, Noah stared. This is alien tech. Zar nodded. My people, long gone. Noah moved to the console. Can we use this to contact Earth? Maybe Zar said. The power core is dying. Noah walked around the room, amazed. Why are you still here, Zar? If your people left, why didn't you go with them? Zar didn't answer. Instead, he walked to a wall and pressed a small panel. A screen flickered to life, showing an old message, a hologram of a much younger Zar, giving orders during battle. The message was damaged, but one thing was clear. Zar had disobeyed a direct order to save a group of civilians. His people saw it as weakness. He was left behind. Noah turned to him, stunned. They punished you for saving lives? Zar looked away. Honor is different to my kind. Noah sat down. Not to me. I think what you did was right. Zar gave him a long look. Something shifted in his expression. They worked together to repair the old console. Zar provided knowledge of the systems. Noah used his tools and Earth tech to bridge the connections. Slowly, they made progress. Outside, something moved in the trees. Later that day, Zar stood at the entrance of the cave, watching the storm. Noah joined him. Do you think they'll come, my people? Zar said. If they are like you, maybe. Smiled. That's the nicest thing you've said to me. Suddenly, a strange sound echoed from the distance. A mechanical buzz, fast and sharp. Zar's eyes narrowed. We are not alone, Noah turned. What is that? Zar stepped forward, blade in hand. Hunters not of this world. In the distance, small flying machines appeared. They scanned the area, red lights blinking. They were not native. They were searching for something or someone. Noah backed into the cave. They're looking for me. Zar didn't answer. His grip on the blade tightened. The machines flew past without stopping, but it was clear someone had tracked the signal. They were coming. That night, Noah couldn't sleep. He sat by the fire thinking. Zar sat across from him again. I don't understand, Noah said. You saved me, helped me, and you don't even know me. Zar looked at him. Long ago, I met a human. He showed me mercy. I did not forget. Noah blinked. You met a human before? Zar nodded. He died, but he believed in something better, Noah said softly. Then maybe we can still be that better thing. Zar looked into the fire. Maybe. Outside, the storm grew louder. Thunder crashed like a warning. Noah knew this was just the beginning. Something bigger was coming. Someone knew he was alive, and someone wanted him dead before Earth found out. But for now, he wasn't alone, and that made all the difference. Noah woke up to a strange noise, low and pulsing, like a deep hum moving through the rocks. The fire had gone out, and the cave was cold. He sat up slowly, his wounds still sore but healing. Zar was gone. He stood careful not to trip over the loose stones and followed the sound down a narrow tunnel. It led deeper into the earth, where light from glowing crystals shimmered across the stone walls. At the end of the tunnel, Noah found Zar standing before a large metal door half covered in vines and dirt. Symbols were carved into the frame sharp, ancient letters that flickered faintly with light. Zar didn't look back. "You should not be here." Noah stepped closer. "That sound? Is it coming from in there?" Zar nodded. This was a vault, a memory chamber. "A place where truths were hidden. Can we open it?" Noah asked. Zad hesitated. "It has not been opened since the war." Noah placed a hand on the cold metal. "If it can help us send a message or stop those machines, we have to try." Zar looked at him for a long moment. Then he stepped forward and placed his hand on a control panel near the door. The ancient tech lit up, scanning his handprint. A soft hiss filled the air, and the door slowly opened. Inside was a dark chamber filled with old technology. Floating. Screens, data cores, and strange alien tools were all around. In the center stood a large crystal pulsing with slow, steady light. Zar entered carefully. "This is the core, the last piece of our true history." Noah followed, staring in awe. "What is it?" Zar walked to a small pedestal and picked up a thin silver device. He turned it on. A hologram appeared, an image of younger Zar, standing proud in armor, speaking in a deep, commanding voice. The translator kicked in. "To all those who remain, know this. I disobeyed orders to save the innocent. I was betrayed by my own command. I am not ashamed." Noah watched, shocked. The hologram continued. "The war with the Syndicate was never about power. It was about fear. My people feared what we did not understand. We turned on our allies. We destroyed peace with our own hands." Zar turned off the message. Silence filled the room. "So," Noah said, "you were a hero, and they punished you for it?" Zar didn't reply. He placed the device back on the pedestal. "They called me a traitor," he said finally. "They said I cared too much for others, that I was weak." Noah looked at him. "You're not weak. Zar, you're the strongest person I've met." Zar's expression didn't change. "Strength means nothing when your own kind leaves you to die." Noah stepped closer. "Maybe my kind won't." Zar turned to him slowly. "Do you still believe they will come for you?" "I have to," Noah said. "It's the only thing keeping me going." Zar was quiet. Then he walked to a console at the back of the room and activated it. A small screen lit up, showing Earth symbols, Noah's own language. Noah's eyes widened. "How do you have our data?" "I collected it," Zar said. "Over time, from broken ships, broadcasts, old satellites, I watched." He pressed a button, and a short message began to play. It was Noah's voice recorded from his ship before the crash. "This is LT, Noah Pierce, diplomatic envoy. We're under attack. Repeat, under attack." Noah's heart sank. "That's from the day we were hit?" Zar nodded. "Your ship was broadcasting when it crashed. I saved this before it stopped." Noah stared at the screen. "So, you knew who I was the whole time?" Zar replied. "But I needed to be sure." "Sure of what?" Zar looked him in the eyes. "That you were like the other human. It's the one I met long ago." Noah sat down slowly. "Tell me about him." Zar hesitated. Then he spoke. His name was Eli Carter. He was part of an early exploration crew. His ship crashed on my world during a border conflict. My people captured him. They wanted to test him, break him, but he never begged, never cursed us. He showed kindness, even when we didn't deserve. Zar's voice grew softer. I was a young warrior then. I was told humans were liars, weak, selfish. But he showed me something else. When he died, he said, "One day, you'll understand why we fight." I never forgot that. Noah felt a chill in his chest. "And now you saved me." Zar nodded once. "Because someone once saved me. And because I saw in you the same fire." Hey, Noah stood. "Then we can do something with this tech, this message. We can call Earth. We can show them you're not the enemy." Zar looked at the core. "There is power enough for one transmission." "That's all I need," Noah said. "One message." They worked together through the day, cleaning the systems, rerouting wires, connecting the EarthCom protocol to the alien array. It was hard, but piece by piece, it came together. Outside, the weather calmed. The green lightning faded, and for the first time, the sun broke through the clouds. Noah looked out from the cave and smiled. "Maybe it's a sign." Zar stepped beside him, or a warning. Turned? Why? Zar lifted a broken piece of metal, part of a drone, the one that passed over the cave. Its markings were not alien. They were human. Noah's face fell. "That's Earth tech." Zar nodded. "Modified. Spliced with syndicate signals." Noah stepped back. "That means someone from Earth might be working with them." Zar said nothing. But the truth hung in the air like smoke. They returned to the chamber. Noah typed quickly into the human interface, preparing his message. He spoke clearly directly into the console mic. "This is LT. Noah Pierce of Earth Alliance. I'm alive. Repeat, I'm alive. Crashed on Keller 7. Hostile tech is present, not native. I have made contact with a local alien, Calcine Zar. He saved my life. I request immediate rescue. Full threat analysis attached. Trust him. He's not the enemy." He looked to Zar. "Ready?" Zar activated the transmitter. The message went out, shooting into the sky like a needle of light. It crossed the clouds, past the storm, and vanished into space. Noah exhaled. "Now we wait." Zar turned off the console. "If they hear you, others will hear too? You mean the Syndicate?" Zar nodded. "They never stopped listening, and they do not forgive." That night, Noah sat by the fire, staring into the flames. Zar cleaned his blade, silent as always. "Do you think they'll come?" Noah asked quietly. Zar said, "Your people will come, but others will come faster." Noah swallowed. "Then we need to prepare." Zar looked at him. "You still have the will to fight?" Noah smiled weakly.
Nice.
"If I didn't, I wouldn't be human." Zar looked into the fire. "Then maybe there is still hope." Far above the planet, in the cold of space, a single satellite blinked. It had picked up a signal. A message long thought impossible. On Earth, alarms rang. In command, eyes turned to the stars, and far beyond, in the darkness between systems, another force moved, one that did not forget, and did not forgive. The debt had been paid once. Now, it was time for the rest of the galaxy to learn what humanity did for those who stood with them. He next morning came quietly. The sky above Keller 7 was clear now, with only a few dark clouds drifting across the horizon. Noah stepped out of the cave, his eyes adjusting to the pale sunlight. He took a deep breath. The air was cold, but it smelled fresh. It was the first peaceful moment since he had arrived. Behind him, Zar worked silently, checking the perimeter near the rocks. His movements were slow, more careful than usual. Noah had noticed it. Zar was hiding the pain in his left arm, an old injury that hadn't healed right. "You're limping," Noah said. Zar didn't look up. "It will pass. You should rest." Zar shook his head. "Rest is for those who are safe." Noah walked over and offered him a drink from his emergency pack. Zar took it, but didn't drink. He stared at the trees for a long time. "They are watching," he said quietly. Noah followed his gaze. "You mean the Syndicate?" "No," Zar replied. "Something else. Mercenaries. Paid hunters." Felt them before. Noah tensed. There. Here for me? Zar nodded. And they will not stop. Noah tightened the straps on his jacket. Then we fight. Zar turned his head slightly, curious. You would fight for me? You already fought for me, Noah said. Tss. Me. That makes us even. But more than that, he paused. I don't leave people behind. Zar didn't respond for a while. Then he said, neither did I. That's why I'm still here. Later that day, they began preparing defenses. The cave entrance was hidden by stones and old roots, but it wouldn't be enough. Zar showed Noah how to build simple traps. Using alien tools and sharp bones from old predators, they worked together through the afternoon. Noah learned quickly. Zar taught without many words, but he was patient. They built pressure snares, tripwires, and smoke triggers. By the time the sun dipped below the trees, the cave was nearly invisible from a distance. But both of them knew it was only a matter of time. That night, they sat by the fire again. The silence between them was no longer strange. It felt like something earned. I used to think aliens were monsters, Noah said quietly. That we'd never understand each other. Zar looked into the fire. I used to think the same about humans. Noah smiled. Guess we were both wrong, Zar replied. Or maybe we were both right. About the others, but not about each other. Noah nodded slowly. You ever miss your people? Zar was silent for a moment. I miss what we could have been. Noah looked at him. We can still build something better. You and me. Survive, Zar. Didn't answer. But something in his eyes softened. Just before midnight, the attack came. A high-pitched sound filled the air. Then a small explosion shook the ground. One of the traps had been triggered. Noah jumped to his feet. They're here. Zar was already moving, grabbing his blade and stepping into the shadows. Noah took cover near the console room, holding a short energy rifle salvaged from the wreckage. Duh. His heart was pounding. He wasn't a soldier. He had trained for diplomatic missions, not war. But now, none of that mattered. Outside, 3 figures moved quickly through the trees tall, armored and silent. They wore black suits with syndicate markings erased. Mercenaries, killers for hire, they didn't speak. They just spread out and moved toward the cave. The second trap triggered a sharp spear launched from the trees. Hitting one in the leg, he dropped but didn't scream. Instead, he raised his arm and fired blindly into the woods. Zad dropped from the trees like a ghost, slicing through the second merc's arm before vanishing again into the dark. Noah fired a burst of light from his rifle. The third mercenary turned and charged toward him. Noah ducked and rolled to the side, hitting a switch that released a trap. A heavy stone slammed into the attacker, pinning him. The first merc, wounded but still dangerous, managed to crawl toward the cave entrance. He tossed a small orb into the air, a signal flare. Zar leaped over the rocks and brought his blade down. The flare was cut in half midair before it could launch. The attacker fell silent. After a long pause, everything went quiet again. Noah stepped out, breathing hard. Is that all of them? Zar checked the bodies. For now, Noah looked around. That flare. They were trying to call more. Zar nodded. We must move. This place is no longer safe. They gathered supplies quickly and packed what little tech they could carry. The message to Earth had already been sent. Now it was just a matter of surviving long enough to be found. They moved through the forest at night, walking in silence. The stars above were bright but strange. This world had no moon. Only a wide purple band of gas drifting slowly across the sky. After hours of walking, they reached a new cave smaller, higher in the mountains. Zar said it once held mining equipment, long abandoned. It would be harder to find inside Noah. Collapsed onto the floor, exhausted, Zedder placed motion detectors at the entrance, then finally sat down. Noah spoke first. You fight like a shadow. Zar looked at him, held your ground. Most would run. I wanted to, Noah said, but I couldn't leave you. Zar tilted his head. Why? Noah looked him in the eyes. Because you're my friend. Zar. It was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I have not heard that word in many years. Noah smiled. Oh, you'd better get used to it. Later, as Noah rested, Zar activated a small data core and watched the last message left by his old Commander. It was the voice of a proud warrior, cold and unfeeling. You failed your mission, Zar. You chose mercy over strength. You are no longer one of us. Zar didn't look angry, only tired. He turned off the message and looked at Noah, now sleeping. With one hand on his weapon, breathing softly, You chose mercy too, Zar said quietly. And now, I finally understand why. Suddenly, the motion alarm beeped once soft but sharp. Zar stood quickly, weapon drawn. But it wasn't more mercenaries. It was a drone, small silver, and marked with the Earth Alliance symbol, Noah. Woke up, eyes wide. That's one of ours. The drone scanned the area, then stopped in front of them. Small light blinked. Then a voice came from it, distorted but clear. This is Admiral Rhea Pierce of the Earth Alliance. 2LT, Noah Pierce, if you're hearing this, we received your signal. Help is coming. Hold your ground. We're coming for you. Noah laughed, almost in disbelief. She made it. My sister. She got the message. Zar watched the drone float away. You are not alone anymore. Noah looked at him. Neither are you. The war wasn't over. More enemies would come. But now, Earth knew the truth, and Zar, the forgotten warrior, was no longer a ghost in the shadows. He had a brother. Above Earth, inside the massive command station Vigilant Dawn, alarms had been going off for the past 10 minutes. Dozens of officers gathered around a single screen, where one message replayed on a loop. This is LT, Noah Pierce of Earth Alliance. I'm alive. Crashed on Keller 7. Hostile tech present, not native. I have made contact with a local alien, Calcine Zar. He saved my life. I request immediate rescue. Full threat analysis attached. Trust him. He is not the enemy. Admiral Rhea. Pierce stood at the center, her hands folded tightly behind her back. She stared at the screen, unmoving. Her brother was alive. Ma'am, a young officer said. That message is real. Verified encryption. Voice print match. Transmission. Route everything checks out. Any response from the field teams? She asked. None yet. But the drone we sent located a beacon signal, AND, another signature too. Rhea turned to him. From who? The officer hesitated. Alien origin. Power levels are unstable. But there's a data stream attached. It looks like a memory core. His face changed. She leaned forward. Bring it up. Moments later, the room fell silent as an old alien hologram played a warrior, proud and tall, with glowing eyes and silver skin. Zar. He spoke of betrayal, of mercy, of a war Earth never knew about. The room was still. And then Rhea spoke. Get the fleet ready. Back on Keller 7, Noah and Zar waited in the mountain cave, watching the sky through a small gap in the rock. The nights were colder now, and the winds were stronger. But Noah didn't feel alone anymore. They heard. Us, he said. Zar didn't speak. Noah turned to him. They're coming. You'll be safe. Zar looked at the stars. No one is safe. Not yet. Noah's smile faded. You still think they won't trust you? I am not human, Zar said. Your people fear what they do not understand. Noah stood. Then I'll make them understand. Zar looked at him. Even if it costs you everything. Noah didn't blink. You saved my life. I'm not letting anyone call you the enemy. That night, they worked on a small transmitter too. Connect with the incoming drone. It was fragile, the signal unstable, but it worked. For the first time since the crash, Noah saw a live feed from an Earth ship, and on the screen, his sister appeared.
Noah!
She shouted, her voice tight with emotion. Is it really you? He smiled. Hi, Rhea. She leaned close. You hurt? Are you safe? I'm fine. But there's something you need to know. Something big. He moved aside so Zar could be seen on the screen. There was silence. The room behind Rhea filled with voices. Alarms, questions. Noah stepped in front again. Listen to me. Tsar's not the enemy. He saved me. He's risked his life again and again. He's not the only reason I'm alive. He knows things. About the syndicate, about the war you never heard about.
Rhea
Took a deep breath. We've seen his data core. Then you know, Noah said. You know what's coming? Rhea nodded slowly. Yes. And it's worse than we thought. She turned to someone off screen. Show him. The video changed. Noah watched in silence as syndicate ships appeared on the screen, sleek, fast, and covered in black armor. But then something else appeared. Human ships. Earth tech. Modified. Broken apart and reassembled with alien parts. Noah felt sick. That's our tech. Tsar stepped closer. They are building hybrid forces! Rhea's voice returned. Someone is helping them, someone with access to classified Earth systems. Tsar looked at the screen. You have a traitor among you. Noah turned to Rhea. What now? We're sending a rescue team, she said, but we're also mobilizing the fleet. If the syndicate makes a move, Earth will answer. Noah closed the screen. He looked at Tsar. You were right. The war never ended. It just changed shape. Tsar sat down slowly. He looked tired, weaker than before. Noah noticed. You need rest. Tsar waved him off. I have rested enough. But Noah didn't believe him. He saw it in Tsar's eyes, something deeper than pain. A weariness that came from years of silence, of loneliness. That night, Noah stayed awake, watching over him. Sighed, the wind screamed again, and above the sky, ships moved in the dark, unseen by either of them. By morning, the Earth drone returned. With a small supply pod, medkits, rations, a portable shield generator. Noah smiled as he opened the case. But Tsar didn't move. He was sitting against the cave wall, breathing slow, eyes closed. Noah rushed to him. Tsar. Tsar opened one eye. I am still here. You're hurt worse than you told me. Tsar didn't deny it. Noah pulled out the medkit and began scanning. Internal injuries, organ stress, high-energy radiation damage. It had been building up for years, from the wreckage, the storms, the old tech. Tsar had never told him. You knew, Noah said, voice tight. Tsar looked at him. It is not your burden. Noah slammed the medkit shut. It is now. Later that day, while Tsar rested under the new shield, Noah climbed to the ridge above. The cave. He used the drone relay to boost a signal to the fleet. He stared at the camera. This is Noah Pierce. If you receive this, understand that we're out of time. The syndicate is already inside our systems. And the only reason I'm alive is because of someone we were told to fear. He paused, thinking about the right words. Tsar is a warrior. But more than that. He's proof that our enemies aren't. Always the ones with different faces. Sometimes they're the ones hiding behind our own flags. He looked out over the mountain. We don't have long, but we have a chance. Don't waste it. He ended the message. Far above, in the command deck of Vigilant Dawn, Admiral Rhea Pierce watched the video. Around her, the council argued. Some wanted to silence the message. Others wanted to strike first, destroy Keller 7 to stop any spread of alien infection. But Rhea stood and silenced them all. We owe that alien a debt, she said. Humans don't forget their debts. No one dared to argue. That night, back on Keller 7, Tsar woke with a quiet breath. Noah was sitting near the shield generator. Watching him, you came back, Tsar said. Noah smiled. I was never leaving. They sat in silence. Then Tsar spoke. Softly, there is something I have not told you. Noah leaned forward. What is it? I have a key. A weapon. Hidden deep in the mountains? One last gift from the old war? Noah frowned. What kind of weapon? Tsar didn't answer. But his voice was calm. The kind that can change the balance of everything. Noah didn't speak. He just nodded once. Whatever it was, he knew one thing. It wouldn't be long before. Someone else came looking for it, And this time, they wouldn't come to save anyone. They would come to silence the truth. Rain fell hard on the mountains of Keller 7. Sharp winds howled through the cliffs. The shield at the cave entrance flickered, struggling to hold inside. Noah paced back and forth. The data Zar had given him, the hidden weapon, the coordinates, were loaded into the drone's memory. Earth's fleet was getting closer. But they weren't the only ones. Zar sat near the back of the cave, his breathing shallow. His skin, once bright silver, now looked pale and cracked. He had grown weaker over the last 2 days. But he refused to stop moving. "You need rest," Noah said again, kneeling beside him. "There is no time," Zar replied, voice rough. "They will come soon." Noah didn't argue. We knew it too. The trackers on the mercenaries had gone silent, but a new signal had appeared, strong, dark, and fast-moving. It came from deep Syndicate space. Death Squad. Zar looked up at Noah. "You must take the drone. Leave now. Find your fleet." Noah shook his head. "I'm not leaving without you." "You must," Zar said. "If they catch you, everything ends." Noah stood. "Then we fight." Zar tried to rise, but collapsed again. Noah caught him. "You saved me more than once. Let me return the favor." Zar looked away. "This is not about debt." "I know," Noah said. "It's about loyalty. I'm not walking away from my brother." They prepared for battle one last time. Zar handed Noah his old energy blade. Small, curved, still sharp. "This was my first weapon. Use it if you must."
Ow.
Noah looked at it, unsure. "I'd rather not." Zar gave a faint smile. "Then run faster than you fight." Before dawn, the sky turned red. Ship appeared in the clouds, sleek black and fast. It dropped silently into the valley like a predator hunting its prey. Then it opened. 4 Syndicate warriors stepped out, each one larger than the mercenaries before. They wore smooth armor, glowing with dark energy. Their faces were hidden, but their weapons were already drawn. Zar stood. Leaning on a staff for support, Noah helped him walk toward the cave entrance. They stood together, watching as the squad advanced. The leader of the group spoke first, a voice like gravel and smoke. "Zar of Keller, you were ordered to die in silence. Why do you still breathe?" Zar stood tall. "Because your silence is built on lies. And this human knows the truth." The leader's visor turned toward Noah. "The human will not leave this world." Noah stepped forward. "Funny, I was about to say the same to you." Syndicate charged. Noah fired the last of his weapon's energy into the first attacker, blasting him into the rocks. Zar moved with surprising speed, blocking to others with his blade. Sparks flew as metal clashed against metal, but they were strong. Too strong. One Syndicate warrior knocked Noah off his feet. He rolled down the slope, blade slipping from his hand. He hit the ground hard. CAAR blocked a deadly strike, but his arm gave way. The blade fell from his fingers. The leader struck him hard in the chest, and Zar dropped to his knees. Noah crawled toward the fallen blade, blood running down his cheek. He grabbed it just as the Syndicate warrior raised his weapon again to finish Zar. With everything he had, Noah ran forward and screamed. He leaped, slashing with the alien blade. The weapon cut through the attacker's armor, sending a burst of light into the air. The warrior collapsed, but another turned and fired. Noah saw it too late. The blast came fast. Zayar moved. He stepped between the blast and Noah, taking the full hit. The world went silent. Zar fell to the ground, smoke rising from his chest. Noah shouted, "Zar!" He crawled to him, shaking. "No, no, please." Zar opened his eyes slowly. "You live. That is enough." Tears ran down Noah's face. "Don't do this." Zar looked at him. "Do not waste what I gave you." Noah nodded through tears. "I won't." Zar's hand closed over Noah's. "Then go." Another blast came from above, but this time, it's not from the Syndicate. Blue light rained from the sky. Earth ships appeared in the clouds, their weapons locked and ready. The Syndicate squad looked up too late. Beams of energy slammed into them, blasting their ship apart and scattering the remaining soldiers. A voice rang out in Noah's earpiece. "This is Admiral Pierce. Ground support is active. Stay down." Noah covered Zar as the Earth's fleet finished the strike. When the dust settled, Noah looked up and saw his sister standing on the ridge, surrounded by soldiers in armor. She ran down the slope the moment she saw him. "Noah." He hugged her. Shaking, "You came." She looked past him and saw Zar, lying still. She knelt beside him. "Is he?" Zar opened one eye. "I am." "Difficult to kill," he said weakly. She smiled softly. "That's good, because I need to talk to you." Later, Zar was placed in a medical pod, still alive but unconscious. Earth medics said his condition was critical, but there was hope. Noah stood beside him, watching the pod hum with soft energy. His sister walked up beside him. "He saved you again." Noah nodded. "He gave everything," Rhea said. "Then we'll make sure it wasn't for nothing." She handed Noah a datapad. On the screen was a plan, a mission briefing titled Operation Starbound, the Zar Protocol. It was Earth's way of honoring the alien who saved one of their own. Her full fleet would now respond not just to threats, but to allies in need. Noah smiled. He'd hate the attention. "It's too bad," Rhea said. "He earned it." Outside, the fleet moved into position. A new war was coming. But this time, Earth wouldn't stand alone, because one alien had saved one human, and now humanity had brought the full force of its strength to return the favor. The skies over Earth were quiet, peaceful, and blue. But the world beneath them had changed. News of Lieutenant Noah Pierce's survival had spread across the solar system. Broadcasts ran on every channel, footage of the wrecked ship, clips of Syndicate forces, and most importantly, images of Zar. The footage from Keller 7 was raw and unfiltered. A silver alien warrior standing beside a human, protecting him, bleeding for him. The translator recorded his words, "You live, that is enough." Billions of humans heard those words. Some cried, some doubted, some stayed silent, but most listened. Inside the Earth Alliance Assembly, a full council meeting had been called for the first time in years. Officers, scientists, leaders from different planets and stations sat in rows. Watching the giant screen in front of them, Admiral Rhea Pierce stood on the central platform. "Zar is not a threat. He is not our enemy. He is not a nameless alien. Warrior from a forgotten war. He is a protector, brother in arms. And he saved one of our own when he didn't have to. We owe him more than words. We owe him the truth." She paused, letting that sink in. "The Syndicate is watching us. They wanted to keep Zar buried. They wanted to erase what he stood for. But now, the galaxy knows. We are not the monsters. They say we are, and neither was he." The room erupted into motion. People stood, clapped, and nodded. A decision had been made. Zar would be honored. Across the Earth colonies, statues and murals were already being built. On Luna Station, a massive portrait of Zar, holding his blade beside Noah, was painted on the outer hull. The words beneath read, "He saved one, so we came for all." On Keller 7, Earth engineers and workers returned to the mountain cave, cleaned the ruins, removed the traps, and marked the place as a protected site, a memorial. The cave where Zar had once hid in silence was now lit with soft white lights. His name was carved into the stone in both alien symbols and Earth's alphabet. Zar, warrior. Outcast brother, but Zar didn't know any of this yet. He still lay in medical stasis aboard the Vigilant Dawn, his body fighting to heal. Machines worked around the clock to repair the damage, his cells, his lungs, the core energy inside him. His body was different from a human's, but not impossible to understand. He slept through it all, and Noah waited beside him. He hadn't left the medbay in days. He sat on a chair, arms crossed, watching the vitals on the screen rise and fall. Sometimes he spoke softly. "I hope you wake up soon," he said once. "You've got a statue now. On Earth, would you believe that?" Another time he said, "You were right. They listen now. They know what you did. You didn't die in the dark." Zar didn't respond. But the lights in his chamber glowed a little brighter each day. Rhea visited often. She brought messages. From people across the system, letters, short videos, even poems. A girl on Mars had written, "Dear Tsar, I thought aliens were scary, but you look like someone who protects others. If I see you, I won't run away." A soldier from Titan said, "I lost my brother in the last war, but watching you fight for one of us made me feel like I got him back." Even former skeptics changed their minds. The truth had touched them in the lower decks of Vigilant Dawn. Noah found a quiet room and recorded a public message. He looked tired but calm. "I'm not a hero," he said. Else chose to be better. Tsar was left behind by his people, forgotten by the galaxy. But he didn't become bitter, didn't become a monster, became something stronger, kind. He paused. If you want to honor him, don't just build statues. Be better. Help someone when you don't have to. Stand for someone who can't stand for themselves. That's what Tsar did. When the message aired, the views reached over 2 billion in under an hour. Back in the medbay, Tsar's vitals spiked for the first time. A nurse called out, "He's stabilizing. Brain activity is rising." Noah rushed to the window. Tsar, the pod lights glowed. The energy inside pulsed brighter than a sound. A low breath, a shift in his posture. His hand moved slightly, and then Tsar's eyes opened. Noah's face. "Lit up, hey? You're back?" Tsar blinked slowly. He looked around, confused. Then he saw Noah. "You are still here," he said. Noah laughed. "Where else would I go?" Tsar tried to sit up, but Noah stopped him gently. "Easy. You've been out for a while." Tsar looked at the machines, then at his own chest. "I survived." Noah nodded. "You did more than that." "What?" "You changed everything." "What?" Followed Tsar, slowly recovered. He still needed time. But the scars, both physical and emotional, began to heal. Doctors learned from his biology. Scientists studied his memory core, not to steal, but to understand. And the people. The people. Remembered children dressed as Tsar during Peace Day parades? Veterans told stories of honor and brotherhood. Entire schools taught his story as part of Earth's galactic history curriculum. But more importantly, humans were no longer afraid of beings with sharp claws and silver eyes, because now they knew the truth. One alien saved a human, an Earth. Brought the fleet not for war, but for gratitude. Because humans remember, and they never forget a debt. Deep in space, beyond the known star lanes, the Earth fleet gathered. Over 200 ships, carriers, destroyers, stealth frigates moved together like a single organism. Their lights pierced the dark void like fireflies at the center of it all. Was the flagship Vigilant Dawn? On its command bridge, Admiral Rhea Pierce stood with her arms behind her back. Watching the stars shift as the fleet prepared to jump, next to her stood her brother LT Noah Pierce, no longer just a survivor. But a symbol on the main screen was the mission title, Operation Firelight. Objective: confront the Zanari Syndicate. Demand accountability. Protect truth. Noah read the words and exhaled slowly. Do you really think they'll listen? Rhea glanced at him. They won't, but they will hear us. The fleet was heading into dangerous space, Syndicate-controlled. Systems known for piracy, secret tech labs, and slave markets. For years, the Earth Alliance had avoided direct war. But not anymore. Not after what happened to Tsar. Not after what they tried to cover up. ZAR watched silently from the medical deck. Though still recovering, he was strong enough to stand, and he requested to view the launch. His body bore new scars, but his eyes burned with purpose. A young officer beside him asked, "You think we'll win, sir?" Tsar didn't answer right. "Away," then he said. "Victory is not always in survival. Sometimes it is in being seen." The officer didn't fully understand, but he nodded anyway. The fleet jumped in an instant. They exited lightspeed over the skies of Nexari Prime. The Syndicate's forward operations world. The planet below was covered in black. Metal structures and defensive platforms. Syndicate ships immediately rose to meet the intruders. Hundreds of them, more than Earth had ever seen in one place. On every screen, red warnings flashed. Admiral Rhea spoke clearly. All units hold formation. Send final broadcast. A transmission. Echoed through space. We come not for conquest, but for justice. The one you hunted now stands among us, honored and alive. We know what you did. The galaxy knows. If you choose silence, we will speak louder. The Syndicate's reply came moments later. It was cold, mechanical, and mocking. You bring ships. We bring extinction. And then war began. The first. Volley of energy beams crossed the void, lighting up space like a burning storm. Earth ships dodged and countered, launching drones and flak fields. Explosions bloomed like red flowers in the darkness. Noah, now leading a squadron, flew through. The chaos and a strike fighter. His hands were steady, his face calm. Beside him were pilots from Earth, Mars, Europa, and even a few allied alien volunteers. This is for him, he whispered before locking onto a Syndicate cruiser. The battles were fast and brutal. Syndicate ships had better shields, but Earth had something else? Unity. Human commanders adapted quickly. They supported one another, sharing targeting data and shield boosts. Teams rotated in and out like clockwork. They fought like people who had something to protect in the middle of the fight. A massive Syndicate dreadnought appeared, a war machine 3 times the size of any Earth vessel. It fired a weapon no one had seen before. Yes. A dark energy cannon that bent space and pulled ships apart. 3 Earth ships vanished instantly. Panic spread across the channel, but then a counter-signal broke through. It came from Zar. He had uploaded a code fragment from his memory core, old Syndicate tech, buried deep in their systems. It triggered a feedback pulse in the dreadnought's engine. The giant ship began to shake violently. Noah's squad locked on to its weak points. Now, everyone fire. Dozens of torpedoes launched at once. The dreadnought exploded in a bright, white fireball, turning the battlefield. Zar's voice rang out through the comms. This is for the ones left behind. Earth ships rallied. Hours passed. More Syndicate ships fell. Some tried to escape. Some refused. On the bridge of Vigilant, Don Rhea stood with quiet rage. We don't erase them. Show them what they tried to hide. Her ships didn't destroy Nexari Prime. Instead, they jammed its systems, exposed its databases, and broadcast every hidden file across the galactic net. Footage of Syndicate crimes. Labs, betrayals, the galaxy watched. The Syndicate's name, once feared, now became cursed by the end of the battle. Earth had lost many, but they had won something far greater. Truth. As silence returned to space, Earth's fleet stood strong in formation. Zar watched from the medbay, and for the first time in decades, Ish smiled without pain. On Earth, people flooded the streets. Children pointed at the sky. Old veterans raised a toast. Zar's face lit up every screen, and below it, a single line glowed. One alien saved a human, and humanity showed the galaxy who we really are. Months passed. The war was over. The Syndicate's power had collapsed like dust in the wind. Their leaders had scattered. Their secrets exposed to the galaxy were now evidence in hundreds of trials. No one feared their name anymore. Earth had not only survived, it had changed. Humanity had stepped into a new age, one not built on fear of the unknown, but on respect, on truth, on loyalty to those who stood beside them, no matter what planet they came from. At the center of this transformation was one name, ZAAR. He now walked freely through Earth's capital. His silver skin healed, his eyes sharper than ever. Wherever he went, people stopped to look. Some waved. Some simply nodded in quiet respect. Children stared wide-eyed. He was no longer the alien. He was the warrior who stayed. Zar didn't like attention. He never had. But he understood now, this story wasn't just about him anymore. It was about something far bigger. A monument was built on Keller 7, in the same mountain valley where it all began. A tall stone pillar rose into the sky, carved with both Earth's script and Zar's native language. For the one who stood alone and the many who stood after? At the monument's unveiling, a massive crowd gathered. Pilots, soldiers, civilians, people from many worlds. Noah stood in front of them, speaking into a quiet mic. Zar didn't ask to be a hero, he said. He didn't expect a rescue. He expected silence. But he still chose to save me. He still chose to believe in something better. He turned toward Zar, who stood beside him, arms folded. You showed us that honor doesn't care about species. That bravery isn't about size or strength. It's about doing the right thing, even when you're alone. Zar stepped forward. He looked at the crowd, then at the sky. I was raised to believe humans were dangerous, he said calmly. I was told you were weak, loud, greedy. But then I met one of you, a young human who should have left me to die. He paused. He didn't. He offered water, then trust, then something I had forgotten. Hope. The crowd was silent. Zar looked at Noah. And because of that, I remembered who I was. Not a weapon, not a ghost, but a warrior, and now a brother. There was no applause, not at first, just a long, quiet stillness. Then, one person clapped. Then, another. Then the entire valley filled with the sound of thousands of hands, voices, cheers. It echoed off the cliffs, across the stars. Later that night, Zar and Noah stood at the edge of the cliffs looking at the stars. Ships blinked across the sky. Peacekeepers, explorers, and diplomats, no longer just soldiers. Noah smiled, you know. They named a new ship after you. Zar raised an eyebrow. They did. Yeah, EAS. Zar, fastest ship in the fleet. Goes where diplomacy can't. You'd like it. Zar gave a small nod. I am honored. Noah looked at him. So, what now? You going to settle down? Start a garden? Write poetry? Zar smirked. I was thinking training recruits, teaching them what matters. Noah laughed. Yeah, what's the first lesson? Zar looked at the sky. Survival is not strength. Strength is what you do when survival is easy. Noah blinked. Should definitely write poetry. They both laughed. Far above them, the stars burned quietly, peaceful. For now. But humanity had changed. The story of one alien and one human had reached every corner of the Earth. Galaxy, it reminded them that kindness was stronger than hate, that loyalty was more powerful than fear, that the line between enemy and ally was not drawn in blood, but in choice. And long after Zar and Noah were gone, their names would live on not just in history books, but in the hearts of those who believed. One alien saved a human, and Earth remembered.